Coming up today on the Wisconsin Vegetable Gardener, we're planting root crops, parsnips, and some carrots.
I'm going to show you how to take seed potatoes and get them to sprout so you have really good germination.
All that coming up today on the Wisconsin Vegetable Gardener. The Wisconsin Vegetable Gardener is sponsored in part by, for all your non-GMO, organic, and heirloom vegetable, flowers, and herb seeds, visit dollarseed.com. Sioux Growing Supply, located in Wausau, Wisconsin, focusing on certified leaf compost, an excellent amendment for poor soil, retains moisture and adds nutrients, which equals less watering. Available in labor-saver, pre-filled trays and pots, bag and bulk. Visit SiouxCompost.com. Organic fertilizer for the health-conscious organic home gardener. Family owned and operated. Visit thewiveggardeners.com. Don't poison your soil with municipal water. Attach a body, mind, and soil hose filter. Free shipping exclusively through the WisconsinVegetableGardener.com. Just click on the body, mind, and soil icon. Authentic Haven brand soil conditioner for the home gardener. Easy to brew. Visit ManureTea.com. No measuring, no thinking. Stamp it, plant it, stop plotting, start planting. GardenStamp.com. Welcome to the Wisconsin Vegetable Gardener. I'm Joy Baird. Well, it's time to plant our root vegetables, a couple of them, parsnips and carrots. Now, parsnips may be one that you're not completely familiar with. They're a nutty relation to a carrot. They grow exactly like a carrot. They do take a lot longer, but they have more of an earthy, nutty flavor. So we're going to plant them here in one of our raised berms in the center of it. Now, why the center? Well, because we're going to have tomatoes on each side, and then as these parsnips come up, we're also going to plant some flowers intermingled among them. So the first thing I'm going to do, we've identified where our row is going to be. I'm going to put just a little sprinkling of Winchester Garden bone meal down. Now this will help the growth of the parsnips by promoting good healthy roots, and then also this works for blooming as well, but parsnips don't bloom, so we're okay with that. So I'm just going to do a little sprinkling. Now parsnips, you want to plant them about a ½ inch deep. I'll finish this out. It is an ancient root crop grown by the Greeks and Romans, so that gives you any indication about the history of them. So now we got that. Now there's a couple of techniques about planting parsnips. Parsnips are much different looking seed-wise than carrots are. You can see they're kind of a flat seed there. And they're a little more harder to germinate. Now, if you pre-soak them for 24 hours, it's not mandatory or necessary, but it greatly enhances the germination period and speeds them up because they can take quite a long time to germinate. The duration of growing them can take upwards of 100 days. So kind of plan that if you are going to plant them in your garden based on where you live, how long they can take. You want to space them about every 12 inches. I'm going to go about every 8 inches because this is a very loose, loomy, rich, organic soil. We've pre-soaked them in moo-poo tea, and it's just really that simple. Now, I'm not going to step in this bed because we've talked many times about not compacting the soil. So I'm just going to take a kneeling pad and just simply kneel and kind of drain off some of this. Now the thing about parsnip seeds, you really want fresh seeds because they're only really viable for about 1 year. You might be able to squeeze 2 out of it, but that's about it. Now the thing about parsnips is they'll grow deep in, penetrate the soil. They're very good at loosening the soil up. They'll get a top growth much heavier than a carrot would, but unlike carrots, parsnip tops are not edible, so you want to keep that in mind. So I'm just going to keep planting them here about every 8 inches. 12 is recommended, but I'm going to go about every 8 just because we can thin them out if need be. And one of the techniques or tricks that the old timers used to use on planting parsnips, they'll overwinter in the garden, much like carrots. You can let them grow and harvest them until it gets too cold. You can mound leaves over top of them to insulate them so they don't freeze in the ground. And you can harvest them all winter long, but you want to harvest them before spring breaks the following year, because otherwise their roots will begin to shrivel up. They'll put a massive top growth on, and that's where their seed pod, they're biannual. They'll put thousands of seeds on. So if you have never grown parsnips, it may be a root vegetable you want to experiment with this year in your garden. All right, we got them all planted, so I'm just going to take the hoe and gently cover them up. Now, one thing you might want to consider if you have really dense, heavy soil is take some of your organic compost or potting mix and cover the seeds so they don't have such a stress to try to pierce the soil. We've got nice soil here, so we're not going to worry about it. Other thing you want to consider whenever planting anything in rows is identify the beginning of the row with a marker and the end of the row with a marker, so you know before they germinate where that beginning and end is if you do intend to plant on either side of it or in close proximity to that row. So we got the parsnips planted here, so we're going to head over and we're going to do some square foot method planting for carrots. All right, we're planting the carrots over here. We're just going to take some more of this organic bone meal. Now do keep in mind, bone meal is the steam crushed remains of animal bone. So if you're vegan or vegetarian or don't feel that that is something that you should be putting in your garden, do keep that in mind. So we're just going to do the proper application rates based on the back of the bag. Once we've covered this here, we do want to slightly work it in the ground. And we'll do that. When planting carrots in the square foot method, you can get 16 carrots per square foot. It's a lot of carrots. So we've got approximately 8 to 10 square feet here that we're going to plant with the garden stamp. We're planting rainbow blend carrots as well as scarlet red carrots. So we're going to have a lot of carrots here, and that's good. So it's pretty simple to do. Just take garden stamp, figure out where you're going to start, hammer it down. Here's your indication. On the garden stamp it tells you, okay, I don't need that row or that row, and I can plant in the other 16 slots. And it's really simple to do. Now I'm going to alternate between scarlet and rainbow just so we have a variation of this, and when we get done we'll just cover them up. Now we're not pre-soaking these seeds because they're extremely tiny, but we will water them in with moo-poo tea once we get them all planted. Okay, we've got them all planted now. We're going to water them in with moo-poo tea. Now, because the soil was previously moistened because of the early rains, the holes were a little deeper than necessary for planting carrots. So what I've done is I've not filled in the holes at all with any additional topsoil. I'm simply going to allow the water and the moo-poo tea and the natural rains to slightly cover the seeds so they won't be buried too deep. Now, if you're in dry soil conditions, this won't be a major issue for you, but it's something you want to keep in consideration. Another thing is, again, no matter if you're using the garden stamp or any other device, carrot seeds are extremely tiny, so there are some holes here that have multiple seeds that we will have to come back and thin, but we have a nice grid system, and it will make it very easy and organized to do such. So just keep that in mind. Carrots, parsnips, two root crops that are very cold hardy. That carrots will take about 60 to 70 days to mature. Parsnips, on the other hand, will take somewhere a little over 100 days to mature. So two root crops that you might want to consider growing. I'm Joy Baird.
And I'm Holly Baird.
Of the WisconsinVegetableGardener.com, and we're excited to announce our special tomato grower edition of the Wisconsin Vegetable Gardener digital magazine.
Yes, it's going to be, the link will be available in the show notes for you, and it'll also be available on our website. You can download it, you can do a PDF file, or you can even do an ebook, or you can just read it right online.
We have some tips from the very basics on how to grow tomatoes, maintain those tomatoes throughout the summer, and getting a bountiful harvest, In addition, an interview with Luke from the Am I Gardener YouTube channel.
There's a couple great recipes in there as well, and even the coupon code.
So check it out in the show notes below and available on the website for free, thewwisconsinvegetablegardener.com.
Sprouting or chitting potatoes is really easy and something you want to do with your seed potatoes. For example, as you can see, we got our seed potatoes and we got them from Wood Prairie Farm, and if you want to link to them, they are organic, non-GMO, and they come from Maine. And the link for that will be, it's on our website, which is the same as our name, thewisconsinvegetablegardener.com. So here are the seed potatoes, and what you want to do is you want to get them to look like this so that there's sprouts coming off of them, as you can see. Or even like this, okay? So to get that to happen, what you're going to do is you're going to take them out of the package or the bag or whatever that you got them in, and you're going to put them into their own little slot. Some people use egg cartons. We're just going to use these seed starter trays that we have. And then what you do is you just give them their own little slot. Then you want to give them daylight. So you want to put them by a window, or if you have grow lights, you want to put them where they're going to get daylight. And within a couple weeks, they're going to start to sprout. And you can kind of tell where they're going to sprout. So then when you're ready to plant, if you have small ones like these, you just put them in the ground, but you want to put the sprouts up. If you have sprouts coming out the side, then you can just put it like this so that they're encouraged to go up like that. Or like this one, that's pretty obvious. Now if you have a big potato and there's sprouts in different locations, you can cut it, and then before you plant it, you want to let it sit. So you want to plant it ahead. Before you're going to plant, you want to let it sit so the inside flesh will kind of scab over, and then you can plant it. So maybe you want to cut it a couple days before you're going to plant it. So it's easy to sprout or chit potatoes, and that way you can have them ready for planting once you have ordered them. Thank you for watching. I'm Holly Baird. For more organic gardening and home food preservation, please join us next time. This has been the Wisconsin Vegetable Gardener. For more information, please visit thewwisconsinvegetablegardener.com.